Hello everyone and welcome back to Factory Town, where in the last episode we have brought in water crystals into our mana network, something I'm quite pleased with. Now we are also starting to experiment fairly heavily with manipulating the land to better facilitate our production queues. As you can see over here, we are actually mining coal and stone using an earth shrine. We are recharging said earth shrine, though a couple of people have pointed out that perhaps the way that we're doing it down here is not the most efficient, since we're only using one receiver to feed 6 recharges. Maybe having 2 receivers would do a better job of that. That's something that we can look into. We're also generally sorting out things like down here, where we now have air stones in a similar configuration and being mined. It does cost us a lot less, or well, 1 population less for each mine, especially if we're boosting it. Now, as you can see, we are not using any of our earth crystals right now. We simply don't need them. We have got a massive production going on, which is rather grand, I must say. We're also not seeing very many regular mana crystals getting down here. Unfortunately, we are consuming them reasonably fast, which is causing a wee bit of a problem. This will eventually stock back up and start running our enchanted book production a little bit better. Perhaps having more recharges down here would be a better idea, though. That's certainly something we can work on. Now, in this episode, I had initially planned on working on our food situation in the town a little bit more. As you can see, generally speaking, we are starting to see some of them not having all of the foods that they might like. Now, aside from that, we do need to increase our production of milk, for example, and help with our dairy and also with our sandwich production. But one of the things that I've noticed is that in the patch notes, butter and cheese have been switched around, and that has kind of thrown a few things out because we planned around using butter. Oh, cactus fruit, my lord. We planned around using butter and dragon fruit. Have they always been there? I do not know. Because butter was the better dairy product, but no, now cheese is. So we're going to swap those about and probably actually start producing cheese specifically to be used in the town itself. However, we're not going to be doing that in today's episode. A few people mentioned in the comments that, well, perhaps instead of working ever more on food, we could start bringing in some of the other materials that we are wanting. So, for example, we could start bringing in reinforced planks or just stone bricks. We could start bringing in clothing. We could start bringing in tools or gadgets. All of these things should be easy enough for us to produce, especially with our means of modifying the land to better suit our needs. Now, I have frequently mentioned how I prefer to work with the land rather than just flattening it. Oh my lord, though, that's so easy. It creeps up on you. I've been just going around willy-nilly, just destroying everything and changing things, and no, it stops. It stops now. But how are we going to do it? I think the first thing we probably want to do is move over the remaining houses that we've got fairly soon. Also, my king. Oh my lord. This whole area needs to be rebuilt, but that can be something for a much later point in time. So let's start off with just getting some basics over here. We can go for something as simple as planks or stone bricks, which are easy for us to maintain, or perhaps we could go all the way to reinforced planks. Now, I fancy reinforced planks. I don't see much of a reason to go for less, and that'll get us some blue coins flowing into the coffers, and it is 60% there, which is pretty good. We would also have potentially some overflow because we could do stone bricks if we really wanted to, and also have those flow in just to kind of keep things on the move. Now, this little area over here looks like it would be a fine option for us, so let's go ahead and start clearing out a little bit of space over here, shall we? Let's remove these resources we're not going to need. Now, I think for the time being we are going to definitely use coal for our fuel source. But we've got 3 pretty nice little mine areas here that we could tap into. Now, the one thing with the Earth Shrine is if there are less places that it's having to recharge, it's probably going to be more useful. It's a bit of an interesting question, whether you want very dedicated little areas or not. I honestly don't know the best answer to this one yet. I think it's going to require a bit of manipulation, a bit of playing around. We have, however, got the water shrine up. That unlocked just while I was preparing to start the episode off camera. I do apologize for that. Building that consumes water mana energy to produce units of water. We can place this pretty much wherever we need water, and we don't have to worry about a well. Whether we do that or not, I'm not really sure. Generally speaking, I mean, we could set it up over here for the silos and the likes, but I think we should be good. You know what? I think we are going to go with the... Let's find a forge, workshop, machine shop. No, I want a regular workshop so I can see the recipe for the reinforced planks. That's... Okay, iron plates, 4 nails, and 1 plank. So we're going to need a forestry setup, we're going to need iron plates, and we're going to need a lot more iron and coal than anything else. So maybe even 2 mines dedicated to the production of this. Now, with that in mind, let's go down and place down our mines then. I am thinking that 2 mines would be ideal for this particular scenario. Now, if I had one here, I could grab from a couple of places, but as I was saying, I'm not entirely sure that this is the most efficient way of doing it. I've got a funny feeling that we might want to be a little bit more controlling. Yeah, we're going to place this here. We're gonna redesign an area for our resources. We will possibly also mine a little bit of stone. I'm not entirely sure on that one, but for the time being, let's assume that we're not going to be doing that. I am going to clear up a little space behind these mines where we're going to place down our own resources. Now, with the farm, primarily we are just looking for iron ore, which we don't have much of, and coal, which we don't have much of. Okay, well, that means we're going to want a quick barn down as well. In fact, do we still have a spare barn over here somewhere? I believe we do. Yes, we do. Marvelous. Let's grab you then. Up you come. And over here. Right, we can get a couple of drills to help with this. And while that's all happening, we can work on a few other things. So, 1 drill there, 1 drill over here. I want this filled with coal, and there as well, coal. And down here we'll have iron and iron, just so that we don't have to worry about them getting the wrong things. So, right, I would like you to start mining there, and you to start mining there, and we should be done fairly shortly. In terms of our earth shrines, we might want more than 1 this time. I know, crazy talk, but nevertheless, I feel that this may be true. We could have 5 row of... in fact, we could have 3 mana shrines if we really wanted to. Would that be a bit too much? They consume earth energy crazy fast, but we could just make a better recharging setup. We know we're going to want at least 1 though, so let's pop down 1, and then everything else we can build up around. We are going to want a transmitter, possibly. We'll want recharging to happen at the back, I'm thinking. Somewhere around here, earth mana can come down, split between, and then move further down besides. Yeah, something along those lines. It is really interesting now that we can start planning like this and building specific areas for our needs. It does add another layer to the game, which is actually quite cool. But with regards to the advice I've been given on maybe using more than 1 mana receiver, sure. We could have 3 mana receivers being fed and then splitting their depleted mana across, or maybe even more, across several recharges and then feeding that back around into the loop. So let's pop down the first mana receiver right here, I think. We're also going to, well, we're not going to lower the land just yet, but that's probably going to be something in the future. Now, quite a few people have said, well, can't you place these side by side? You can, but then they kind of overlap, as you can see with the ghosted image there. However, you don't strictly need to do it that way. I just like using the grabbers, but sure, we can make something that looks like a coil if you particularly like. If we do something like that, and then just use grabbers to pull them out the other side, that will also work. I am going to need to modify the terrain just a tiny bit. I'm going to try and avoid doing this as much. Let's just get a little bit of room just on that side for our chutes. Now, if we grab some chutes coming out, we can do something along these lines. We can just feed them out into a mana receiver. We could just have 3 separate groups, actually. That might not actually be a bad idea. Sure, let's do something like that. all into one mana transmitter on the other side. Yes, I like it. We could, in fact, something like that, so we can pull them out of the transmitter here a little bit faster. But honestly, I fancy having a row of these. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll have a look at how we can do with that. Right, we're going to need a grabber to pull out, out, and out, and then finally a transmitter on the far side as well. I'm still playing with the idea of either having each receiver have 3 or 5 recharges dedicated to itself with a single transmitter, then grabbing from multiple sets of receivers and pushing back into the network, or maybe even one receiver, 3 to 5 recharges, and 1 transmitter, but multiple sets of those to manage the enormous amount of Earth mana we're going to be consuming in this area. We desperately also need to set up a much, much better production of mana bricks. They are always a thorn in my side. Right, let's get down our ore then. Well, oh, that is so not what I meant to do. Damn it. Let's go across that way. Well, you can get back to work again. Well, drat and blast. I'm still getting used to using that thing. My goodness. Right, I'm going to need to clean up some of this. We're probably not going to need this much iron ore. In fact, we could just have 2 mines. One dedicated to the production of coal, one dedicated to the production of iron. But I fancy we'll probably stop needing coal much sooner than we'll stop needing iron from what we've seen elsewhere. So I'm going to have both of them mine iron. That way at least both of them can be useful part of the time. Then we want coal up the back here. There we go. And down in these corners. There we are. And then we can have another 2 mana shrines besides. I think that's actually, not only is it going to look good, it's going to work well, I hope. And there we go. Mana transceiver. Transmitter, rather. Okay, that should work, hopefully. The way we're going to want our mana pipes to come in, first I'm going to want to make sure that these are earth boosted. There we go. And then back to the mana network. Now then, so a mana pipe would enter the system somewhere around here, I'm thinking. Would have a splitter here. And here. Then these can feed up and around up to receivers at the back up here somewhere. This could split around here, so doing something like that. And then finally out here, once again, these could connect to the whole network of receivers. We can have even splitters forcing these into the correct locations. The mines will probably get less use than anything else. So with that in mind, I might even have these move a little bit further out and then up. And the same on this side, something like that. Whereas this one is probably going to see quite a lot of use because it's being fed by 3 potentially earth shrines. I can only assume that is going to be redonkulously expensive. And it's going to be producing enormous amounts of resources. This one will be dedicated towards it. Only these 2 will split. There we are. And then we'll have something similar at the back there. Then with the pipes at the far side, honestly, this one can split either way and then down. Something like that. Either way and then down. Let's give it another 2 spots. There we go. Something nice and easy. And then it can feed back into the whole system like so. So it'll be a contained loop for earth crystals only. And I think that will be rather grand, if I must say so. Rather grand. We won't need anything else for this particular part. This will just be the mine. Now the production area will probably be a little bit further up, but for the time being, that should be fine. We can have this split off there. There we go. Lovely. And then down here, we're only going to want earth crystals. So let's go ahead and pop down the logistics for that. We're going to want a pusher, but a filter as well. And the filter is going to be, of course, set to earth crystals only. Where are you? There we go. Perfect. And get a pusher as well. Now, can that actually push? No. I would have been amused if it could have pushed it across a non-existent pipe. Just kind of making it jump the rails, if you like. There we are, and boom. The system should start up now. There we go. And, I mean, only part of this is actually going to get used for now. And these are not actually hooked into anything as yet. So we are going to want to, for the time being, just bring these across. There we go. Just to make sure that everything is actually getting used. There we are. For the time being, I could just take these away, just to stop that happening. And down here, we of course need some more grabbers. I forgot to place those down. There we are. Grabber going this way, grabber going that way. There we are. That should work a lot faster. Some of them will go straight through the receivers because they're fully charged and they don't need to do anything. Right, let's have a look at how this is starting to fill up. Very well, actually. Very, very well. Let's make sure there is a splitter here, though. There we are. So this way we're going to start seeing it feeding out in different directions. There we are. This is not going to be in any way, shape, or form a problem for us. Right, let's head back out of here. We're going to, unfortunately, lose the harvester drills. You've done a great job, but we don't need you anymore. And we'll move this barn back, which is currently full of odds and sods, and we might use those later. Pop that over there, it'll do fine. Right, so our mine area is fully charged and should be able to do everything it needs. So given that, I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to build the remaining 2 earth shrines. Do we have enough mana brick for this? And we do. We've got 1, at least. There we go. Is that already hooked up? Okay, well, now we can connect this one up then. That will speed up the replenishment, certainly. And also the production of discharged mana blocks. Now, one thing I have been thinking is creating a system that will only allow another block through the moment a block has left the queue. We could do that using logistic blocks. Because as you can notice, these can sometimes just clog up the whole system. Not exactly what we want to do. So let's see if we can't use the computation blocks to try and help with this. I would like 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and then we will grab a blocker right here, right there. Okay, so what we want from here, I want this to activate this blocker when it receives a signal on this side. I want this one to close the blocker, that is to turn it on when it detects something entering here. So let's offset this. There we are. And I want this one to be activated on enter. So the moment a block enters here, I want it to cause this to close. So it'll detect 1. So we hook that up like so. It detects an item entering here. This blocker should activate. Let's just check if that works. There we go. Stopped it straight away. Perfect. Now I want it to only let something out. In fact, we don't actually need another one. We can have just 1 block over here since it closes down the moment a block enters this. I want it to open again when that block exits this tile. So with that in mind, I'm going to need to inverse it because this is going to detect a true signal. Something is going to be there. So it's going to be like, hey, we found a thing. And I want this to activate only on this exiting the tile. So once it's actually got a free path. This way, we ensure that when something exits through this tile, it will have room for not only the crystal to charge, rather discharge in here, but then to move off that tile and blocking it, possibly. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to give me a 0 or a 1 because it's exiting. So, we're going to just hook this up for a moment, just for a test. Let's activate it. No. Let's try it again. No. Okay, so what we need to do here is we need to inverse this. That's easy enough to do with a not block. So we want the bool function right there. We want to set this one to not. And instead of this being passed all the way down, I want it instead. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I don't want that going backwards. I want this one feeding down to here, and this one feeding down to there. Now this system should now be automated. There we go. That is so much better. It is now timing the system properly. The blocks will move through. They should get jammed. Generally, they should get jammed immediately. The alternative way of doing this, if we hook this one up slightly differently, make this one trigger on exit, and then offset it instead to be on this tile. The moment a block exits this tile, it'll shut the block. Still allowing some through. Interesting, that one. Okay, well, it's not ideal, but it will work. That is a shame, though. It does seem to work a little bit better, but it probably would only work if we had a very, very good flow of mana crystals moving through. We could possibly also prevent the system from jamming. For example, we could have only if there's nothing here is this active, rather is this pusher active, so it wouldn't continually fill the system to breaking point. And honestly, that is something worth us looking into. So I'm going to momentarily take that off. And I'm just going to try and continue working on setting up this little system here. So let's go ahead and grab another recharger perhaps, or several rechargers. We could also get another earth shrine, which would in turn allow us to start using her up a little bit faster, but we'll still need more there. We'll still need a faster recharge system. There we go. That, in theory, is a useful thing to have. I'm not sure if it's going to really work out that way. We'll have to see on that one. But for the time being, I definitely think we could do with more recharges. So let's go ahead and add 2 more if we can afford them. We can't. Okay, mana bricks are going to be the issue there. And also, those. It is a little bit frustrating to see those up in the sky. Maybe what I can do is at another stage, I can build all the logic down here and just hook it up as necessary. But either way, we are now producing what we need. Let's go ahead and clear up all the remaining resources around here. So let's get these out of the way. There we are. And also over here as well. Don't need them. We are recharging these to enormous amounts, hopefully within time. We'll see how that goes. Right, so each one should be producing both coal and iron. We are going to want a forester as well. So if we go and find one of these, as we are going to need planks for this whole setup, we could just bury you into the trees. I don't think it would hurt that much if we sunk you in properly. So sure, let's get this all nice and tidy like. We'll have you sunk in about yay far. There we go. We'll probably put some extra trees around it at some point as well. But for now, this should be adequate. So there we go. Nice little forester. Now I believe... Oh, you can actually also have an earth booster for a forester. Okay. Well, that's actually pretty cool. So we can hook this one up as well. Now it does mean that this path needs to be a little bit longer then. Sure. Let's go ahead and... Actually, I believe I put all of these on number 4, didn't I? Yes, I did. So let's run this all the way around and back down. There we go. That will eventually break, and I'll allow that to drain out. We will break, well, one of these pipes at some point. But this will need... We could just have this break off. I mean, the forester is really not going to use that much mana crystal. The reason why I need to do it like this, let's just get rid of all of these actually, is because if I don't have this feeding in there, we would start having crossed paths a little bit, and it's something I would like to try and avoid. Still, it was a little bit of a surprise that we would be able to use this one for our discharged crystals, but still, that's fine. Let's have that then feeding up there. There we go. Right, let's go for a splitter down here just to make sure that everything is running correctly. There we go. That will work well. Okay, it's a little less clean now, and actually on to that end, we're just going to give a little bit of extra space around here as well, because otherwise I really won't like the clutter as it starts building up. We're going to probably have to start playing around with air crystals soon enough as is, and that's not exactly ideal for me, I'll be honest. Right, let's come back out of here. We are going to want a lumber mill, more or less straight away. Do we need to store the wood? I don't think so. The only thing we'd be using it for is for planks, so probably not. Nevertheless, we're going to place down, you know what I'm going to do. We're going to place down a silo right there. And then a chute leading into that. And then a lumber mill right below it. There we go. And then that can shoot straight in there. Right, I would like you to please start gathering wood. There we go. As for you, I would like you to be making me planks, please and thank you. Now, these by themselves can actually be delivered if we would like to. And there's certainly a use to that, I think. Either way, though, we're going to start storing them straight up in a silo right here. There we are. And everything should... Oh, wait, of course. We are going to need a conveyor belt for that one. There we are. We'll use a metallic conveyor belt for this. We will add an air booster, but it's not going to be something we're going to set up just yet. I think this is going to stay purely for my earth mana for the time being. And we are going to want to really, really set that up properly. What on earth is that about? What? Where? When? I have no idea. Alright. Either way. We should also set these up to start gathering coal and iron there. And this one as well. There we go. That should be fine. Right, so we're starting to store our planks and we're going to store those quite quickly. Again, the goal here is to get up to the production of reinforced planks. So, to that end, I would like 2 separate forges. Let's set you together. One forge, probably just straight down. There and there. Now, the tricky part here is how we're going to store the resources. Let's have 2... Well, we could have 2 separate silos. I'm not entirely sure that we're going to need them. Just because these aren't going to be consuming asymmetrically. This one has the potential of consuming asymmetrically. Because it's remotely possible that they'll get through the trees faster than I can manage them. But this one, if each one of these mines feeds a single forge, and both forges are producing the same things, if we're saying iron plates and nails in both, then there's really no room for them to use coal or iron in different ways. So, no, we're just going to have straight paths all the way down, and that should do everything we need. We could use silos, but I just don't think that's strictly necessary in this instance. So you're going to want you to be... Where will coal be? All the way up here, of course. Coal there. No. Coal over here as well. I don't think that actually has any effect on anything. I just dislike the visual clutter that it creates. And there we go as well. Yeah. And you, please. And you. And finally you. There we go. So these should start producing reasonably fast. Now, once they've produced all of the nails, because nails require less iron, they will produce nails more frequently than they will produce the iron plates. Now, we could have a separate forge for each, one just purely producing nails, one purely producing iron plates. We would still produce the plates slower. We would produce 1 nail, or rather 4 nails, which is what we need for 1 reinforced plank, every 8 seconds. We would, I believe, only need 2 iron plates, so we would also produce that every 8 seconds. Let's go and have a quick look, or faster, given the way things are. Yes, actually that would all factor together, so we could potentially have that. I don't believe we're going to be producing these nearly as fast as we could. So it'll be a bit of an interesting one. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and place down the next building, and that is going to be a workshop right about here. Now, it would be useful if I could store the nails and the plates in their own individual silos. So that is something that I'm going to try and set up. So we'll place the workshop right there. We are going to want this to be air boosted, and I'm going to want to producing only reinforced planks. So there we go. That's 1 step complete. Now the planks themselves are going to have to be drawn down. That will actually force them to face the wrong way. So there we go. And oh, we're out of these. Okay, fair enough. Still, if we have a look over here, do plates and nails get drawn out by chutes? No, they do not. That is a bit of a shame, but oh well, it is what it is. There we are. The amount of visual stuff on the screen right now is causing a bit of slowdown graphically, if nothing else, and I'm tempted to look for solutions to that that would perhaps be disabling the effect of mana moving down the mana pipes. But for the time being, I think we're okay. Right, are we completely out, really? We're not producing more. Have we got a backlog of vehicles around here? We don't have any cloth cart, it seems. Is that... Oh! Well, why not? Stone. Stone. Drat, damn, and indeed blast. Okay. Well, that's been a problem that's been building up for a while, I imagine. Alright. Well. This is going to be a bit of a tricky one then, because we have no production of parts until we get that done. So we're going to need to resolve this rather sharpish. Let's rise this little area up by another couple of tiles. There we go. That'll be a bit better. From here we can build a mine easily enough. Get that working. Now I'm not going to worry about setting up the an earth booster around here. I don't think that's strictly necessary at this point. We're just going to deliver this straight down. There we go. Should have done that a very, very long time ago, my lord. That's fine. You can be gone. There we go. Thank you very much for your work. What were you doing? You were moving fruit juice out of the base. Very well. Oh, actually, we've got 207 in there. Well, where are we? Perhaps I should get you back. Hey. Yes, actually. Okay. Let me go ahead and build another. I just deleted a few, but that's fine. Could you please move these out over here instead? There we are. That should help me quite a lot, in fact. Okay, so with that on the move, once again, do we have any yet? No, that's fine. We are going to want to try and move these into silos. So let me go ahead and set up the buildings necessary for that then. So 2 silos. One fed there, one fed here. However, the one on this side is going to be fed from an elevated position. I'm going to have to wait on that one for the time being, because I'm fairly certain all of these are going to require metal conveyors for it to work. If we have a look down here, we can perhaps see how well this is going. Well, we've got the necessary equipment in there. We are actually starting to produce them, which is good. We've got 3 so far. Okay. Well, it's going to be a bit of a slow process getting all of this going, but it is necessary. And so we can have... I'd rather not use this tile. And I realize that that is a little bit odd, but using it anyway. Right, okay, well, fair enough then. So I'm going to need a grabber here specifically saying only take out the plates from this one. There we are, plates please. There we go. So only plates to come out there. Of course, we've already managed to get a nail in the system. And another one. Drat down blast. Okay. Well, that's the problem with having this so tightly wound in. And we want plates coming out of here as well. Just so that we can control exactly what's getting drawn out. And all of that can feed into just this one silo. Now with that done, we can place down the arches above. And once again, we're going to want grabbers, but this time strictly for nails. Where are they going to be? A little further down, it seems. There we go. Of course, these are technically tools. So that does make sense, actually, when you think about it. We're going to want these ones feeding in there. There we go. Just one shy. Oh, well. Almost there. Very nearly done. Come on, I need one more. Please deliver. One more. Where are the carts? That's fertilizer. That's not what we need. We need specifically carts full of... where are the carts gone? Oh no, there's a cart there. Just waiting to drop off. Oh, there we are. Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right, let's get you finished then. There we go. Nails are now into the system. And almost planks as well. Oh, my lord. I could just be boring about it and place these down just for the time being, just to get things on the move. There we are. Right. Finally. And with that, we will be producing our reinforced planks. Not particularly quickly. It takes 10 seconds. But all of the materials will be brought together within 8. So the bottleneck here will be the workshop, which is fine. We can't speed that up with a booster, which is a bit of a shame. We are going to want to try and upgrade this if I can. So let's do that. And indeed, I will want the reinforced planks drawn out, also down there as well. Into, of course, you know what it's going to be. We're going to have some new silos. So let's go ahead and grab those. One for you and one for you. I'm going to have to drop this area down just a little bit. Now, you can already tell what we're doing over there. Since we're producing planks significantly faster than we are producing the reinforced planks, it doesn't make much sense for us to not use that as an overflow of materials for anywhere that can actually use them. Now, the unfortunate thing over here is it's going to be a little bit of a tricky position for everything. We should have perhaps built a little bit further back, but well, it is what it is. Can we place one down there? Oh, there we go. Everything is now fully upgraded. Perfect. We are using the iron up a lot faster, though. That is a bit of a shame. That one's already been depleted. Okay, I'm actually a little bit surprised by that. Well now. Why? Okay. Sure. Very well. We'll just go ahead and we'll set the pipes back up. There we go. Alright, well, that entire system is blacklogged. Which is a bit of a problem, obviously, but it is what it is. Of course, actually that didn't, in fact, help me at all. So maybe I should get rid of that. Thank you. Like so. And we'll just allow this system to operate as it wants to for the next little while. But while that is going on, we will have built enough mana bricks to build... Actually, I can just click here and Shift-C. Someone was very kind enough to explain to me why I was having trouble with copying sometimes. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it would not. And that is largely because it will copy whatever the cursor is over, not whatever you have selected. And that is an enormously important distinction. My goodness. But there we go. We will grab some grabbers as well. And then this little area is now a little bit better at recharging. Perfect. Let's have a look. There we go. So 5 recharges, currently running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 very hungry buildings. That is not even remotely going to be enough. So what we're going to need to do is add a good many more. That'll come with time, however, as you can well imagine. Still, we're going to try and do it. Let's see. Can I copy that? Oh, we can actually place it down. Well, color me impressed. We could have one there. Sure, why not? Can we place another one down? No, of course we cannot. That would be asking far, far too much. There we go. But we can, at the very least, prepare this system for use. There we go. And everything like so. Now I could just drive it into there if I really wanted to. Should we? Let's have a look. How frequently is this being used? It's not being used that frequently, actually. So sure, we could do it like that. There's actually no particular reason not to. So okay. We'll have all of these feed out. And like this, all the way down. Same here, 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 and here. There we go. Marvelous. And then we'll set up the extractor. So we'll grab the grabbers. Ba-dum-tsh. There we are. And all of these can pull out. All right, let's have a quick look. How does this all work? It's working reasonably well, I must say. I could have these feeding up as needed, but honestly, I think this is fine. We'll just smarten this up a little bit with a mana pipe going there and getting rid of these ones. There we go. We'll probably do the same over here. This one will need to feed in like so. There we are. And then straight up, since it's going to be built in exactly the same configuration. This will hopefully allow us to get a lot of the earth crystals recharged and put back into the system as needed. We could just leave it like this so it's not topping up anymore. Alternatively, we could have a silo control, so it'll only give a top up when the silo has nothing in it and just feed everything back into the silo before feeding it further down into the system. There's a lot of things that we could do to still have the reloading or the top up feature, but honestly, we've got enough earth crystals in there right now. We probably don't need it as yet. We'll have a look at it in the future, but I think that'll be fine for now. So how many we got? We've got nothing in there because we haven't set up the splitter. We've got nothing in storage. Okay, so the way we're going to do this, nice and simple. We're going to have a pusher directing everything down there. Now, at the moment, that makes no difference. But then we are going to follow that up by having this allow things through. So it'll only push planks over there when there is any room whatsoever for it. We are actually out of iron, really. Are we really out of iron? I don't think so. There we go. We're starting to see things happening a little bit better now. But the iron is actually still reasonably slow. Honestly, I'm a little bit shocked by that. We're also not generating any kind of recharge there, which is a bit of a pain. On this side, we might be able to, but we could just have all three of these running through this one, but honestly, I don't think that's necessarily the smarter option there. No, we need this to be moving, and then we'll start being able to drain this the mine. But for now, they're just gonna sit there as is, which is a bit of a shame. We can possibly alleviate this very slightly for the medium turn by putting that there, and that should start working. There we go. If we can get a copy of this, which we can, marvelous. Pop that one down. There we go. We should be able to do much the same. And just for the time being, get these set up so that they actually produce something and are doing some of the work. Once that's done, then our recharging area should be finished for the time being. I may need to balance it out a little bit more in the future, but for the time being, I think we'll leave it at that. All we need now are some chutes. Going like so. There we are. Perfect, and then much the same down here. Unfortunately, this one I'm going to have to place manually because it won't understand otherwise. See? Most vexing. There we go. And a grabber as well. For all of my recharges. And of course, either side of my transmitter. And with that, as and when we gain enough to add these in, we will continue to flesh this system out. But for the time being, that will be our recharge system for this whole area. I mean, technically, this is kind of, producing something. It's going to be a slow, arduous affair getting all of this running because, those mana bricks. But we're at least producing stone once again. And we are actually producing the reinforced planks that we wanted. What's the time? Do we have enough time to set up the delivery? You know what, I guess we can. And we're actually going to do this one a little bit differently from how we've done the previous ones as well. So it'll be a little bit more interesting. I'm going to try and do this. As I said, this was basically set up as a Pythagoras switch as our episode to the introduction of computation blocks. But we don't need to have it quite as aggressive as that. We can, in fact, make this a little bit more streamlined if we want to. And that's what my goal is going to be here. Let's make it a much more streamlined version of feeding the cart into the system. Down here, I'm going to want this to turn back, ideally. Something like that. There we go. And then just bring this all the way down. This should come back out. This should go in. This should come back out. There we go. And we could have the entire system take up about that much room. Now, the way that we're going to do this is we're going to want a pusher Well, actually, I'm going to need to bring this back just a little bit because right now, the natural path for the cart is to try and go in there. Though, that being said, it wouldn't necessarily be a problem, I suppose. We could make that work, actually. We're going to do a similar system to the one that I set up in here, using a blocker and agent triggers to try and work out what's going on. Let's take out that blocker as well, just to avoid any catastrophes there. So we're going to want a inventory counter that is checking the silo to activate a pusher, which will direct minecarts down here, but we'll use a blocker, or rather we could just have a pusher that's trying to direct minecarts down there and have the inventory counter activate or deactivate the blocker. That actually seems like it would be even simpler than the system we've got. Wow. Okay, the more you think, the more elegant the system becomes. So we want an inventory center only. One there, one there. We could have a blocker then. Just something here. It is possible to use the barrier gate, which can sit over this to prevent entry. But I'm not as keen on that one. Let's just go with blockers instead. It probably looks a little bit better, honestly, but for quickly seeing how the system is working, this is probably the better option. I want this to activate... I'm going to need a math block, actually. My bad. I'm going to need to move you around. I can't move you, of course, so I'll pop the inventory center over there. That's fine. I'm going to need one math block as well. Where are we? There we go. Now, this will check the inventory in here, and will output to the math block. The math block will turn on, that is block, if there is less than 1 cart's worth of materials in there. So there we go. And I want this one to feed in there. Now, in this case, I'm going to turn that off. Likewise, I'm going to turn this one off because it's probably exactly the same setup in that this has already reached 100, so it can't feed any more information out. Once again, want this to be less than 20. There we go. 20. Perfect. Right. Now, normally speaking, we would have a pusher here always trying to push something down into this path. So let's go ahead and place that one down. We don't strictly need it on this one because the natural path, again, is to go in this direction. But I'll add it for completeness sake. There we go. And we'll probably adjust that later on. Now, as carts come down here, I'm going to want them to take a wee detour up in this direction, if we can. And for that, I think we're going to have a bridge. A proper bridge, mind you. Yeah, something along these lines. Let's do something like that. So, womp. Let's go for an arch. There we go. Womp. Perfect. And then, likewise, another connection down here as well. It'll look lovely, I'm telling you. Let's go ahead and pop that in place. And over here, in exactly the same position, one, we'll have a bridge. Well, we'll actually bring this one out a little bit just so that I'm not encroaching on the area I've already set up there. There we go. But then we'll have the bridges set up as usual. One there, one there. And an arch. And finally another ramp section. And then any carts that are in here are not going to be part of this network for the time being, but that should be fine. Let's get these set up. I'm going to need a very long bridge. Can I get this to... No, I can't. What I can do then is possibly... Sure, we'll have regular blocks here because this is how it's going to be drawn out anyway. So let's have that draw all the way across for me. There we go. And down. And this one exactly the same. Holding control to make it place all of the required sections. And just to make it look right, we're also going to place these underneath. And it actually does look like a bridge then, in my humble opinion. Oh my lord, really? Wow, my depth perception is so bad. These shadows throwing me off constantly. There we go. Perfect. That actually looks quite lovely in my opinion. Right, now with that done, we're going to remove these. There we go. There we are. So we should see these carts move all the way down. Pick something up. It'll be a slow slog up over that, and then they'll speed up a little bit going down here, which will kind of be cool. There we are. Until they hit the first turn. This one will go straight down. They'll collect stuff. Oh. I placed the rails after the silos. Shh. Nobody saw a thing. Don't care what you say. Lies. There we go. And I'll enter back into the system. Maybe grab a block or two. Maybe not. And I'll head back down here until it's actually got something to do. We could adjust this so that it does actually feed up as well. It's a little bit of a hack, but sure. Okay, we'll do that. There we go. Get rid of these. No, that's not what I wanted you to go. Fine. You can go that way. But then, no more. Instead, I want you to come up here. Oh, that's wrong. There we are. Perfect. No one saw a thing. Is that right orientation? No, not yet. There we go. Finally, there we are. Our system should work now. We'll start bringing along marvelous things. Right, that is now activated because this has got less than 20. That one will push things down there. And that is a bit of a pain. But what you will notice is when this system is active, this will get back before this has got 20, and something different is going to happen. Now, normally, if I put this blocker there, then that would probably work. But instead, the minecart's just going to sit there. It's going to wait until there are 20, and then it'll move on. And so for now, nothing is going to even try and make the stop there anymore. It does mean we need more minecarts on the system, but minecarts don't cost workers, so there's really no reason not to have lots and lots and lots and lots of them on the rails. There's really no downside to it, so let's pop down a couple more. Go ahead. Go. And you go. There we are. Perfect. They can go and pick up some more. And at this point, another minecart is just going to stop. And at this stage, as soon as that has 20, which it should do very soon, there we go. Minecart goes and collects it immediately, and then carries on its merry way, and another minecart will come in and sit in position. But we should now be seeing that some of our people have actually got some decent supplies. In fact, they've got the best kind of supply. Unless, they don't, in which case they've just got a plank. It's fine, though. We do need to address this, I'm noticing, though. Well, there's a bit of a breakdown in our production over here, which is a little bit distressing. It's because all of the carts currently are just picking up everything. We may migrate all of these to this system. It is significantly smaller. It's got a much, much smaller footprint, and I definitely like that. We will see a couple of these carts picking things up, though, because we've definitely got enough butter, well, enough everything, actually, for our carts to start grabbing things. So now that we've primed the system with more carts, we should start seeing more things being picked up, which is grand. And this system, you're generally not going to have any trouble because there's always a cart waiting to grab the next load. And then as soon as that's done, another one will pop in and grab what's necessary. I could make this blocker activate again a little bit sooner by having an agent trigger on it. I just don't really think that that's strictly necessary for the system. So we should start seeing people getting a little bit happier over here, getting some more noms. They're starting to run out of meat, though. No, that one's got quite a lot, actually. Yeah, we definitely need a lot more food in this system. We may be working there in the next episode. We might start setting up a clothing line, perhaps. We'll have a think about that one, but that's going to be it for me. Do let me know what you think of our more streamlined depots over here, where we've just got a cart in waiting, which is just going to pick up the load as soon as it's ready and then carry on its merry way. But that is going to be it from me. So until next time, and as always, do take care, everyone.